Hi, this is Ronan, appliance technician from Total Care Appliance Repair. Today we'll be showing you on how to repair a washing machine that's not draining. Cause for that may be a faulty drain pump or a restriction in the drain hoses. In this case, the drain pump has failed, and if there is water remaining in the tub at the end of the cycle, that means that it's an issue with drainage. So we just open up the filter cap to remove excess water that's in the tub, and now we are opening up the top of the washing machine. There is a screw right here on the right side in the LG washing machine. Next, you take off the detergent drawer, and there are two screws to be released. Then you take a screwdriver and gently and carefully pry the clips at the top of that to remove the user interface console. Remove the wire harnesses. Now there's a spring metal around the gasket that holds it in place. Use a flat screwdriver to remove it. And then you would move the gasket, take it out, and move it inside. You would then remove the door lock with two screws, and then remove the filter cap cover. And there is actually a screw at the bottom of the door. And then you take off the 4 screws on top, and the door comes right off. You would then remove the hoses that are connected to the drain pump. In this case, there is still water in the drain hose, and you would use a wet vac to suck off the remaining water. And this is a special plier that I use to remove hose clamps, but you can use any regular plier. This one just makes it a bit easier. Remove all the hoses that are attached to the drain pump, and there are 2 screws in the front of it, which allows you to take out the drain pump, remove the wiring harness, and the drain pump comes out from the side. Now there are several screws on the top of the drain pump that holds it in place. Remove the cover. Just remember the positioning of the drain pump so that you know how to put it back in the same orientation. We're going to replace it with an original LG drain pump. Notice with a good drain pump, there is a bit of a spring to the impeller. There's a bit of a magnetic pull to it. In faulty ones or bad ones, the impeller might be a bit shaky, might wobble, and spring might not be there. It's a bit loose, and that will cause a lot of rattling during spinning. That's another sign of a bad pump. Just make sure that the gasket around it is present to prevent any leakage, and it should just snap in place. If it doesn't snap, that means it's the wrong drain pump. It needs to fit securely without too much pressure on it. Now you place all 4 screws around it and place the cover. Same way you took out the drain pump, it would be the same way that we put it back. Reposition the drain pump and pull the drain hose out. Install the 2 screws at the front. And reposition the hoses you took out initially. Of course, don't forget to install the wiring harness back onto the drain pump before you do that. And just make sure it's secure and snug. Give it a bit of a tug. Make sure it doesn't come off easily. Reposition and align the door back. Add the 4 screws to the top. And then the last screw at the bottom. Replace the cover. And then another screw holding the cover there in place. Now reposition the door latch behind the gasket and then secure it with the 2 screws. And then you take out the gasket and reposition it around the door. In this case, there was some water remaining at the bottom of the gasket there. It wasn't, it was blocked up with some debris, so I just cleared it off with gently with a screwdriver and then sucked off the remaining water. And now I'm just repositioning the gasket around the door, making sure that it's flush against it, and I'm using a special tool to allow me to expand the spring around it and reposition it onto the gasket. Just double check that if you pull on it gently, it doesn't come off. Reinsert the user interface panel and make sure that it's flush. If it's not, just give it a bit of a push or a kick into, and it will snap into place. Two screws go into the detergent drawer to hold it in place, and the last screw on the right side. Repositioning the top panel and securing it. Two screws at the back. Now we'll give it a bit of a test spin. Clicking on the 2 central buttons and the power button together will put it into diagnostic, and then press play to cycle through and advance through the different test modes. In this case, we see it's filled with water, and we're gonna click it again to drain it. And as you can see, completely drained out. The machine is back in service. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoyed it, click on the like button, and thank you for watching.